A cold blue dawn was just breaking over the front when a single Ukrainian Mirage fighter sliced through the horizon like a blade of light. No one, neither the soldiers on the ground nor the Russian radar operators tracking the sky, understood how that pilot managed to pull off what would later be called the most impossible maneuver in the entire conflict. It wasn't just a flight, not just an attack run. It was a moment that rewrote what everyone believed about modern air combat. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Frontline Report channel. Please subscribe and like my videos as we dive deep into one operation that left even Russian analysts stunned, questioning how a lone Ukrainian Mirage pilot executed such precision, speed, and control that it bordered on the supernatural. The story begins at the edge of an active conflict zone where the Ukrainian Mirage sat fueled and armed, its exterior glowing under the floodlights. From a distance, it looked like a sleek predatory bird, sharp lines, refined surfaces, and a fuselage engineered to cheat radar whenever possible. The gray paint blended perfectly with the cold sky above, and the aerodynamic shaping gave the aircraft a low-visibility silhouette. What stood out were the clean intakes, the sharp delta wings, and the unmistakable signature of French engineering. But on this morning, the Mirage was different. Maintenance crews had fitted it with a loadout tailor-made for a single decisive strike. Under the wings hung a pair of precision-guided air-to-surface missiles, engineered to hit hard, hit fast, and vanish before the enemy even understood what happened. The canopy reflected the dim sky as the pilot climbed in, sealing themselves into a cockpit built for clarity, tactical awareness, and speed. Inside, the interior of the Mirage kept everything tight and controlled. The layout is intentionally compact, just enough space for essential controls, a panoramic HUD, and a high-contrast digital interface that puts critical data right in front of the pilot's eyes. Every switch has been placed for quick reaction time. Visibility is excellent, giving the pilot a clean 360-degree reference. The seat, reinforced and angled for endurance in high G turns, strapped the pilot in for what would become a flight etched into military aviation history. The Mirage lifted off with a scream of acceleration, climbing hard before dipping low to hug the terrain. This performance envelope is where the jet becomes something extraordinary. Built to operate at high speeds while maintaining agile maneuverability, the Mirage can glide beneath radar, pop up for a strike, then disappear before counterfire can lock on. And on this mission, performance was everything. Russian surveillance systems swept the skies in sweeping arcs, expecting straight trajectories or high-altitude passes. What they encountered instead was a weaving, unpredictable flight path that defied tracking algorithms. The pilot exploited every contour of the ground, rivers, hills, tree lines, turning the Mirage into a ghost aircraft. Acceleration came instantly, letting the jet lunge forward like a predator, then slow just enough to break predicted patterns. Each move was designed to confuse radar operators, and by the time anyone realized what was happening, it was already too late. As the Mirage approached its strike zone, a Russian air defense battery locked on. Sirens sounded, but this is where the pilot executed the maneuver that stunned even seasoned Russian commanders. Instead of climbing or banking in the usual evasive patterns, the pilot performed a sudden micro-dive followed by a razor-sharp 6G snap roll, using the Mirage's aerodynamic delta wing to swing the aircraft out of the radar's cone at the last millisecond. The defense operators thought the aircraft had stalled. Instead, the Mirage shot upward like a slingshot, gaining altitude dramatically and breaking the expected threat vectors. This impossible transition from low flight to high angle of attack climb was something most jets couldn't do. The Mirage, however, thrived under that pressure. Safety features inside the aircraft played a vital role in making this even possible. The Mirage includes redundant flight control systems capable of stabilizing the jet even when extreme G-forces push traditional airframes into dangerous stalls. The pilot relied on reinforced systems that kept the engine airflow optimized during rapid altitude transitions. The anti-G suit protected them from near blackout conditions, enabling the precision needed for the final strike. The aircraft's radar warning receivers flashed red, identifying incoming missile locks, while the countermeasure systems deployed instant flares and chaff bursts timed to perfection. Safety in this jet isn't passive, it's an active layer of survival technology that watches over the pilot every second. The unique selling points of the Mirage became painfully clear to those trying to stop it. Its agility combined with a low radar cross-section allowed it to slip through defense networks with surgical precision. Its power-to-weight ratio let it accelerate Russian interceptors scrambling to react. And its integrated targeting computers delivered the ability to launch guided weapons without exposing the aircraft for more than a few seconds. What sets this jet apart, though, isn't just the engineering, it's how perfectly it works when a skilled pilot is in control. The Mirage is a platform built for creativity, adapting to the pilot's style instead of forcing them into a rigid combat structure. And that is exactly what enabled the Ukrainian pilot to pull off the maneuver that has now gone viral worldwide. As the Mirage reached the final attack point, the pilot executed a high-speed corkscrew descent, a near-impossible feat at the velocity they were traveling. The jet twisted downward while the targeting system locked onto a Russian mobile command post hidden behind reinforced structures. The maneuver allowed the Mirage to evade incoming fire and align perfectly for the shot. In one instant, the pilot squeezed the trigger. Two precision missiles streaked ahead, cutting the air with fire trailing behind them. They hit their target with devastating accuracy, detonating inside the compound and obliterating the command center responsible for coordinating multiple frontline units. The explosion lit the sky like a new sun. Russian forces scrambled, unable to process how an aircraft they barely tracked had just erased one of their most protected sites. Then came the escape. The Mirage turned westward, climbing rapidly before diving back into low flight. Russian fighters scrambled, but none could close the gap. The Ukrainian pilot pushed the Mirage near its maximum speed, exploiting its engine's raw afterburning thrust. The sky blurred around the cockpit. Adrenaline surged. The jet became an extension of instinct. Within minutes, the Mirage was back across friendly lines, engines cooling, airframe trembling from the intensity of the mission. Ground crews swarmed the aircraft, shocked at the structural integrity after such a high-stress flight. The pilot climbed out, silent but steady, knowing that what had just happened would be analyzed, debated, and likely never replicated again. What remains astonishing is that the operation was completed using a jet whose price is significantly lower than many fourth-generation fighters. The average unit cost of a Mirage varies widely depending on upgrades, maintenance cycles, and equipment, but the overall investment is far below the price of modern Western platforms, making its performance-to-cost ratio one of its biggest strengths. It's a fighter that punches above its weight, delivering enormous capability without the billion-dollar budgets associated with elite aircraft programs. In the end, what happened on that cold morning was not a miracle, not luck, and not a fluke. It was the merging of superb engineering, elite piloting, and the will to survive in a sky filled with threats. Even Russians don't know how the Ukrainian Mirage pilot pulled this off, because the maneuver defied textbook aerodynamics and tactical expectations. But for Ukraine, for aviation enthusiasts, and for anyone fascinated by the razor's edge of modern warfare, the story is a reminder that sometimes one pilot, one plane, and one decision can reshape the entire conversation about what is possible in the air. The Mirage returned home as a symbol of ingenuity, precision, and daring, a jet that once again proved why it remains one of the most iconic aircraft ever to take flight. And as always, thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like my videos on the Frontline Report channel for more incredible breakdowns of the most intense operation stories happening around the world today.